Thank you. Member for Courtenay-Comox.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And congratulations on your appointment as Deputy Speaker. Lots of changes in the House, and it is my great privilege to be able to respond to the throne speech that opened our 42nd Parliament. And recognize that we are on the unceded territory of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples, so the Esquimalt and Songhees, and I wanted to also acknowledge that I come from the territory of the Comox First Nation. When I first moved there in 1990, I was told that Comox meant the land of plenty, and it certainly is the land of plenty. If you look at the history, our beautiful estuary is full of fish steaks from fishing weirs that have had hundreds of thousands of people. And there are middens that line the shores for miles and miles. A couple of years ago, I had the privilege of being on a walk after a big major storm, and one of the banks had eroded, and some 1,400-year-old bones were found. So the land of plenty has been the land of plenty for millennia. I was born in France. My father was in the military, and he never was transferred into Comox space, but there is a large contingent of people who not only work at the base, but who retired there. They've come out of duty, and they returned out of love for the place. We're a very diverse community as well. We have probably per capita the most number of organizations that are involved in environmental pursuits. And it's because of that beauty, the nature that surrounds us helps define who we are and what we fight for. And it is a real privilege to live in a place where there is so much love shown for this community. As we start this new Parliament, I wanted to say thank you to the leadership of our Premier and also to acknowledge the record of our previous government. I remember 2017. I remember entering a campaign where there was despair, there was hurt, there was people suffering, and right after the election, there was an air of hope and aspiration. And that has continued through the 3+ years that we were at the seat of government with the cooperation of the Green Party with our confidence and supply agreement. And we grew. We had balanced budgets year after year after year. We increased affordability, and we increased services that people relied on at the same time that we were able to grow the economy, provide jobs, have more opportunities for people in terms of education and advancing careers and supporting business and technology. It has been a positive direction where we have turned the Titanic around and headed in a new direction. And I would like to say that this election was, to me, a demonstration of the confidence and the trust that the people have in the record that we presented to them from their experience, that we don't just say that that we've built a more affordable province, that we've provided services. People actually are feeling it. I remember the day that I opened my campaign office, and a couple walked by, and they said, "I've never voted NDP in my life, but we're looking forward to voting this time." And the day that we were taking down our camp, they walked by again and were congratulatory. And I think that speaks of the trust and the confidence that people have had in the direction that we have been going with this government. I would like to also thank the people who helped me to be able to stand in this beautiful room, to be a part of a government and represent the people of Courtenay-Comox. The executive of my local constituency association has been with me throughout and continues on. President Catherine Askew, in spite of some family troubles, stuck around, and when she had to take some time off, she was able to turn over the helm to Kevin McPhail, who is our vice president, and he very ably steered the ship. I'm using a lot of shipping metaphors here. We have had people who've been around for a long time. I won't go through all of the names, but please know that you are very much appreciated. And we've lost a few folks through the time, and we've made new friends as well. And that's something that's come this time around too, is just so many more new faces of people who wanted to be a part of growing this province in a good way. I want to thank my husband, who is with me 24/7 in my heart and keeps the home fires burning and makes sure that I'm fed and watered. I think I've said this before. And have clean clothes to wear when I come down here. He has become the keeper of the house in ways that he probably never imagined. I also want to thank my children. They don't live in the Comox Valley anymore. They've found their careers and new lives in different parts of British Columbia. One's in Penticton, my son Ryan with his partner Leah McKinnon, and my daughter Chelsea, who is an integrated pest management specialist who works in the Lower Mainland. And they have wonderful lives, and they are experiencing these days in each in their own way. And I'm very proud that they're in my life and that they help give me the kinds of stories that tell me whether or not I'm going in the right direction. I want to thank the campaign team. My campaign manager came in a little bit after, because one of the members who sits in this house today actually turned to becoming a candidate instead of the campaign manager. And I'm very proud of the work that she did to gain a seat here. And I'm very happy that I had the strong leadership of Mike Orders to steer us through to a good day on the 24th of October, and then again on the 6th of November. And I also want to talk about my constituency assistants. Some of the folks have played double duty, and my constituency assistant, Leanne Rathje, played triple duty. And that kind of loyalty doesn't come around very often, and I just want to acknowledge that spirit of working together and supporting each other. We talked a lot about the importance of bringing stability through the time of COVID. When COVID hit, we'd been coming along in a really good way, and then not one sector was left out of this pandemic. Some sectors have suffered more, and I think that's a place where I am very proud that we are focusing on to make sure that everyone comes out the other end and we have a more fair and just and equitable society. Sorry, thank you. One of the things that happened early in the pandemic was that I heard a lot of people saying how glad they were that they lived in British Columbia. And today, still, the issue of COVID-19 is the #1 priority of everyone, because we're not done yet. I am so proud of every British Columbian who has stepped up and done their part. It's always been a simple message of what we can do to be heroes, and people have done it. Whether it's keeping that 2 meters, learning how to be close but apart, remembering to wash our hands to the tune of Happy Birthday twice, whether it's finding tricks not to touch your face, and remembering to stay home when you're sick. For me, that's been a hard one because I suffer from allergies, so I always have a drippy nose, and I don't want to stay home. But I will say that it's something that when you do it, you know you're doing it for others, and that you're saving lives. So every British Columbian that has taken that important guidance from Dr. Bonnie Henry, it's been saving lives, and they're all heroes. I also want to acknowledge Dr. Bonnie Henry. She came to us at a time when we needed somebody who had the kind of expertise that she has, having dealt with Ebola and SARS, and having the discipline that she has, and the sense of teamsmanship, and the ability to go through all the evidence, to be, I don't know if she sleeps. I don't know how you can do this job and day after day, and take the heat on some things that, like, it's just really hard to imagine anybody giving her grief. But we know that she has, and I just want to lift my hands to her for all that she has endured. I saw her do, somebody had recorded her doing a little dance when the vaccine announcement was about to be made. And you could just see in those few seconds the sense of relief that she had, that there was going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. But in the meantime, she has borne an incredible burden of trying to make sure we all do the right thing and stay safe. Government's response was swift, and yes, we did work across party lines. It was a very deliberate and important step because we truly are all in this together. The virus knows no party lines. It doesn't distinguish between races. It doesn't distinguish between whether you live in the north or whether you live in the lower mainland. It all depends on how we manage ourselves in safe ways. So working together, I've just been so impressed by the work that we have seen come out of this province to protect people, to strengthen our communities, to support businesses. And we flatten the curve in ways that have not been flattened across the country with the kind of populations that we have. And that is a point of pride, and and we are in a place right now where it it kind of got away on us a little bit, but still, compared to other communities, we're getting a hold of it again and starting to bring things back into control. The fact that folks are dying in larger numbers is devastating. It is the hardest part of this pandemic, that we would have people who have given their lives to this province to be most at risk and to suffer the most dire of consequences. And so taking initiatives that protect our elders and our seniors has been job one. And we can do this. We can continue to work in the right direction. And I'm looking forward to the vaccine that's going to help just tremendously and give us that hope that we will one day return to a more normal life. But in the meantime, we have a lot still to do, and we still need to be vigilant while we do it. I want to talk a little bit about some of the stories that have happened as we've moved from taking action, response, and recovery and efforts, and where we're going from here on in. In my community, in terms of supporting business and protecting jobs, the reduction in the property tax for commercial properties helped. the recovery money that's been being handed out to local governments has been received with great relief, recognizing that loans weren't all that small businesses need, that grants were also important. And now we're looking at tax measures to reward hiring, and I think that's another exciting piece. In my own community, just a few examples of how people, with their livelihoods, have managed to be supported and still be able to continue on. Just down the street from me, I have one of the restaurants who's created patio seating out on the parking spots on the street. And they're starting to winterize them a bit, but they're still going strong. The doors are still open. We have a local brewery who set up shop in a mall and had never anticipated COVID-19, but they weren't able to sell cans of their brew, and now, thanks to the changes in the policies, they have been allowed to add that to their repertoire of business offerings. We had a brand new coffee shop. This is one of the harder pieces, of, new endeavors. And they opened up and had all of these, there's hydro bills that were going to come due and payable, and there was nobody coming through the door. And so they were able to get relief from that, and I can't tell you how grateful they were, because it would have crushed them. In terms of protecting people, we've provided protections around housing with rent relief, protection from evictions during the worst of the COVID pandemic, and limited the rental increases, all to bring a little bit of stability to people who would otherwise be made more susceptible to catching the COVID-19 virus. In terms of health, I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that surgeries were put on hold for quite a number of months. And when they came back, they've come back with gangbusters to try and do a catch-up. We had been working on reducing wait times for hips and knees, and that was a challenge. I appreciate this, because I've had my hip replaced 3 times in British Columbia, and I know what it's like to have to wait for that surgery. And I know what it's like to be in a hospital when you feel very vulnerable and you don't get to have visitors. It's just a very, very difficult time. And yet, the healthcare workers are stepping in and being the surrogate family members and working double duty, not only to provide the health care, but also to provide those emotional supports so that people can get home and be healthy again. During the early days, we recognized seniors at home were needing to stay safe at home, and we had a working group with all members of party members to work to make sure that we could roll out a $50 million plan with Better at Home through the United Way to make sure that people could get their groceries, that they could get their prescriptions, that they could have check-ins. These are all part of the direction in making sure that we're looking after British Columbians. And coming up in that same regard is to have more personalized home care. I think that's a great direction that's going to make people feel a lot safer in their homes and give them a better quality of life. I want to talk a little bit about the seniors in residential care. My father was in residential care, and I know what it's like not to be able to see your loved one, because I was quite far away from them. He was in Burnaby and I was home in Courtenay. And so I have a lot of sympathy, and I feel the pain of the people that have not been able to see their family members. But I'm also very hopeful that this day is going to come to an end, and people will be able to safely see their family members that are in care, and when they do so, they won't be jeopardizing the safety of their loved ones or someone else's loved ones that are in those care homes, because we know how quickly this virus will spread. I know that coming up too, we're going to be training and hiring more doctors and nurses. We know that they are working overtime, and this is an opportunity for them to, for us to see our healthcare system grow and thrive and be ready for the next crisis that I don't want to imagine might ever come, but we always want to be prepared. I want to talk a little bit about the recovery benefit and the crisis supplements. This summer, I ran into, well, I shouldn't say I ran into her because we were 2 meters apart, but I spoke with an elderly woman in one of our parks who was very excited about having received the crisis supplement. It made a big difference in her life. And yesterday we heard from the minister about how the next phase will roll out in terms of the recovery benefit, which is going to be more inclusive of more people, and how the threshold for being eligible is being raised so that more people are eligible to get these benefits for the next 3 months. These are important steps, and I appreciate that there's a need to be critical about things, but I just want to set the record straight that people are getting the help that they need, and that there is no intention from this side of the House to see people having to scrape to get through in ways that we have already been showing that we support them. In terms of the future, our commitment to a clean energy future is very secure. We saw through the summer months redeploying of small ship operators to be cleaning up oceans plastics, giving them employment. We just made announcements around greener transportation options with active transportation and shortening commute times. And I just really look forward to all the work and all of the innovations that are going to come in terms of the clean energy future that is before us, and the opportunities that having this kind of like a reset with COVID-19 to be able to move into new directions with more vigor. So the table has been set to extend, to expand, and to launch new initiatives, as British Columbians have shown us that this is the right direction. The vaccine is good news. We have been reassured about the safety of this messenger RNA vaccine. It's not my area of expertise. I think I failed chemistry when we got into talk about DNA, but we know that we are not out of the woods yet, and that we still continue to need to do our part. I want to recognize again the frontline healthcare workers, our frontline essential workers, the people who put food on our tables, to make sure that we can get from point A to B, and all of the other ones, to stay the course with trust and with confidence so that we can get through this together. We are in the, I guess, entering it, we're there now, we're in the giving season. People have shown a lot of generosity through this pandemic, and I know that it will continue. It's now time for us to help find other ways to celebrate, to express the joy and peace this season represents, and it is, after all, the point of the season. We will get together as family and friends in the future. And this time, our gift to each other is to stay apart and to move forward to a new recovery and a stronger BC. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.